This is your Barbados Today Evening News Update for Tuesday, August 31st. Classes will be fully online when school begins the new academic year on September 20th, Education Minister Santia Bradshaw announced today. The decision comes amid a new strong surge of coronavirus infections, apparently linked to the highly contagious Delta variant, which has impacted the nation's children.
We believe, and after discussions this morning with the various representatives of the trade union movement as well as the PTAs, we believe that the time has now come for us as we approach the start of the September term to go fully online. And therefore, I want to announce that all classes will begin for both students at the public and private schools on the 20th of September, but they will now be fully online. Now, I'm mindful that a number of concerns were raised on the last occasion in relation to the transition to online. We know it is not an easy environment to operate in. I mean, from the ministry's end, we've done our best to try to equip our teachers to help them to make the transition.
According to Bradshaw, just 2,100 of 21,000 students have received the jab, and the vaccination drive will continue in earnest. In the meantime, with some 100 children in isolation as the overall COVID-19 spike continues, some schools have been pressed into service as isolation centers, including the Darrell Jordan Secondary School and the Blackman and Gollop Primary School.
The Delta variant, as I think you know, is quite a transmissible virus, and as such, we now have, I think, over 100 students in isolation across the various sites. In the past few days, we've had to set up the Blackman and Gollop School as an isolation facility, and I know that there are some who believe that we shouldn't be using the schools, but the truth of the matter is that this facility has been able to serve the Ministry of Health and Wellness well in the past. We've been able to hand it back over to the school at the appropriate time, and I think the situation now warrants that we're able to provide additional facilities for the Ministry of Health and Wellness in order to be able to get ahead of this particular virus.
Now to the latest COVID-19 numbers. 64 people, 30 males and 34 females, have been identified by the Barbados Santos Public Health Laboratory as COVID-19 positive from the 1,979 tests conducted on Monday, August 30. New cases consist of 51 people who are 18 years old and over and 13 individuals under the age of 18. The number of people in isolation is 339. There have been 5,032 confirmed cases of the virus recorded since the start of the pandemic in March last year. 50 people have died from the virus. Public health officials have administered 109,905 first doses of the COVID-19 vaccine, while 34.8% of the population is fully vaccinated. In other news this Thursday, government has signaled its intention to decriminalise vending. Minister of Energy, Small Business and Entrepreneurship Kerry Simmons made this clear in the House of Assembly today, where he announced details of the proposed National Vending Bill 2021.
So the fight for us in this government, sir, must be to bring dignity to that which the people are doing, to bring, Mr. Speaker, sir, a sense of opportunity that allows them now to be empowered and enfranchised in that which they are doing, sir, and to remove the shackles that have been imposed on that commercial activity throughout the annals of time. I make no apology for saying it, that as a Minister of Commerce, sir, the only shame I feel is the shame on behalf of successive administrations. For 55 years, they did not find it possible to come here and do that which we now do today.
Minister Simmons also flouted the idea of having the criminal records of vendors being expunged. However, he says that would be decided by the Joint Select Committee of Parliament.
Mr. Speaker, sir, there's one other area I wish to touch on, and that is that though it is not part of this legislation, it has been said to me by my colleagues, and I want to embrace on the floor of this House the view that we should go yet another step further, and that there should be an automatic and immediate expungement of all the criminal records associated with vending in this country. Mr. Speaker, sir, I am going to take advice from the Attorney General of Barbados. I will take advice from the Cabinet of Barbados. And we, again, because we go to select committee and we'll be hearing both oral and receiving written presentations, we invite the views of the public on this matter. This minister, sir, has no problem with the idea of the expungement of criminal records with respect to vending, and if it could be so done, I would be the happiest of campers.
In response, opposition leader Bishop Joseph Atherley says the bill does not go far enough and the goal must be to bring vending into the mainstream of Barbadian economic activity.
But if that is all we do, if that is all we can conceive of, then we still fall short of the mark. Mr. Speaker, it must be about the economic movement to bring vending into the mainstream of Barbadian economic activity. If that is not the goal, then our vision is blurred. If that is not the goal, then our vision is not far-sighted enough. But it must be about ensuring the movement of vending into the mainstream of Barbadian economic activity. Anything else is mere tokenism. Decriminalization itself can amount to mere tokenism if that is all there is embraced by the vision that we have. If that is all there is that is captured by the policy initiatives which we seek to put in place.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To news from the region, in St. Lucia, the National Students' Council laments that another COVID-19 wave is affecting the educational system. The start of the new school year has been delayed by a week, and in-person classes suspended due to the alarming increase in COVID-19 cases. More in this report from HTS News Force.
The St. Lucia National Students' Council is sounding the alarm on the implications of further delay in the resumption of face-to-face classes. The post-election spike in COVID-19 cases has led the government, through the Ministry of Education, to postpone the reopening of school initially scheduled for the 6th of September. This was done in order to protect the school population from the virus. The acting president of the St. Lucia National Schools Council, Alan Plant, says students from disadvantaged backgrounds are being further set back by the virtual learning mode.
You have where students can't afford proper internet, you have students who can't afford a device. So we're really on the backs of the government now. You need to understand that this is the first academic year where students are starting online, and how mentally and emotionally moving that might be for students, especially coming out of an academic year with no device and going into a new one with no device again. You have a child which is seriously disadvantaged when it comes to that.
On the international front, U.S. President Joe Biden on Tuesday says he takes responsibility for the decision to end Americans' longest war, noting that the terror threat has been metastasized across the world, well beyond Afghanistan. More in this report from Reuters TV.
I take responsibility for the decision. Now some say we should have started mass evacuation sooner. And couldn't this have been done in a more orderly manner? I respectfully disagree. Imagine if we'd begun evacuations in June or July, bringing in thousands of American troops and evacuating more than 120,000 people in the middle of a civil war. There still would have been a rush to the airport, a breakdown in confidence and control of the government, and it still would have been a very difficult and dangerous mission. The bottom line is there is no evacuation from the end of a war that you can run without the kinds of complexities, challenges, and threats we faced. None. It was time to end this war.
That's news, but for the very latest, you can visit us at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media and bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.